building wireframes, representing your ideas, documentation, coding, testing, representing your product, getting it reviewed, and working on feedback regarding the interviews as well, like mock interviews, resume buildings, working on your soft skills. And also, of course, the masterclass sessions was like a cherry on a cake. So I think that was the amazing thing that.
Hey, Monali, welcome to the Pesto podcast. And we're super, super glad to have you here. And thanks for making time.
Hey, Ayush, thank you so much. I'm so glad to meet you. And I'm super excited to share my journey here.
Awesome, let's do it. We are here exactly for that. I think the whole point of this podcast is to tell people that the incredible things you've done during the program, after graduating from the program, and the journey which we have now. Our goal is to make sure that we communicate to everybody that you're not a prodigy. You're just like them, and it's not that hard, and they should dare to dream as well, right? So we'll dig deeper into your journey, your experience with Pesto, and of course, like after Pesto, what are your ambitions and what are you working on, and how does your remote life look like, right? So let's get started. Just to start with, Monali, what's your background? Where are you from? And how did you get into coding in first place?
So basically, I am from Jamnagar, Gujarat. And so I did my graduation with bachelor's degree in computer engineering. And then I cleared GATE examinations and I did my master's degree, that is MTech in computer science and engineering from the Nirma University. I worked as a professor in Nirma University for a year. And then I left the job and the profession as well because I found myself more interested in software development than the academics field. So I came back to my hometown and surprisingly, having no single IT company here, I decided to start working remotely. So I started working as a freelance software developer. And initially, I did not limit myself to any specific technology. Instead, I tried to do almost all the projects that I was offered, whether it was small or big, just to gain some experience and some long-term clients. And I could achieve that. Also, with the freelancing experience, I could learn a lot of things like how to deliver a project on time, how to be solely responsible for something. And because I was working alone, I had no one to put the blame on for something that went wrong. And I think that was one of the best things that I could learn from the freelancing experience. So I worked as a freelance software developer for almost 2 years. And then I joined one of the long-term freelancing clients from the UK as a full-time remote software developer in his new venture. And that was my first company experience, I would say. I learned how to work in a team. I learned how to deal with some of the staff, being an important part of the team. I worked with them for 2 years as a core team member. And then I joined a Canada-based company for better opportunity. I worked there as a backend heavy full stack developer.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah. So how's your experience like moving from academics to software development, and how did you land up a remote opportunity? How was that experience like?
So actually, remote job was not my first preference at all, but I would like to preface this answer actually. So I'm born and brought up in an elite family, and my father is one of the top businessmen in the city. And being a single child, my parents never wanted me to move to another city for a job. Instead, they wanted me to join my dad's business. And I think like all other parents, being caring and protective, like they wanted to make my life as much easier as they could. And I was always wanted to do something on my own, and that too in the software development field. So I tried to figure out an intermediate solution, and I decided to start working remotely So that is how I decided to start working remotely rather than going to any MNC and having some experience, the actual work experience, what we can say. So yeah, it wasn't my first choice at all, but yeah, it turned out to be the one of the best choices ever.
That's amazing. And also, like, I think nothing teaches you more than taking full ownership of what you're doing, right? So almost always like that ends up being a great learning experience. Awesome. And when did you hear about Pesto, and what really, got you into Pesto?
Yeah, so while I was looking for a better opportunity in the remote jobs, I came across Pesto quite randomly. So I saw your interview on the Ranveer show, and actually I watched the Ranveer show for the first time on
Nice.
YouTube as well. So I got to know about Pesto. I tried to do a little bit research about it, and apparently I did not find any loss in trying it out. So
Yeah.
I just decided to go for it. And so I joined Pesto like without any forethought, but it turned out to be one of the best decisions, right?
That is amazing. So glad to hear that. I think there are a lot of people who basically are at that juncture, right? Like who don't really understand who we are, what we stand for, and how's the experience like, right? So how would you explain your experience to a layman or somebody who just got to know about us?
Yeah, sure. So from my very own experience, I would I would like to share that the thing which I was looking for, I definitely got it from Pesto. And since I started working as a freelance software developer, I used to get the things done on time without thinking too much about following the best practices. I used to believe that delivering the results on time is way more important than anything else. But gradually, I started working in a team and I started realizing the importance of following the best practices and building a maintainable code or product. And I learned from those experiences. I improved myself a lot. But still, at some point, I was seeking some guidance and mentorship to improve those areas where I was lagging, and there was a scope of improvement. So that was one of the reason that I wanted to join Pesto, because I heard a lot about the mentors that Pesto is dedicatedly provide to each of the graduates or the students. And also, yeah, the reason of one of the reason was also that I wanted to join Pesto for a better opportunity, because I was getting the offers, but none of them were much better than what I was already doing. So that was also one of the reasons. And I think uh, Pesto did satisfy everything that I was looking for.
That's amazing. No, I'm glad to hear that. Just curious about the role of a mentor in your life. Like, we all go through this phase as a professional. You have to keep growing, right? And very few people understand the importance of investing in themselves, right? Especially at an early stage in their careers, where investing in themselves is probably the most important thing or the best investment decision which they could make, right? From your perspective, how was your experience? I mean, ultimately, you are investing. If you even via Pesto, you got access to these mentors, and you're investing one way or the other. So, how would you, share your experience about having mentored in your life, right? Like, and any recommendations or pro tips for people who are at this stage of their career where they're considering it? What would you advise them?
Yeah, I think there are definitely certain things which you only get to learn from the mentors. Um, so Raghu Datta was my mentor here at Pesto, and in one word, I would like to describe him as an outstanding mentor. And I'm truly grateful for everything that he has done for me. And having him as a mentor has changed my life for the better. So I would like to share some of the things. I have been super amazed with a few things that he used to do. Like he never failed to notice and appreciate the efforts that we used to put in even for small practice tasks just to motivate us.
Yep.
He used to observe how we access the online resources during the live coding round of the mock interviews, how we Google the things so that he can even guide us with how to utilize the online resources more effectively when you are allowed to do that. He used to share feedback after each round of the mock interviews. And the best thing was, he used to notice if we worked on that feedback in the next round of the mock interview or not.
Absolutely. That's the most important thing, right? Feedback without action is not that useful.
I got to learn a lot of things like following the best practices and how to answer some of the interview questions in a better way. Where do we need the improvements and how can we improve? And not only the technical things, I think I got to learn many non-technical things from him as well, like time management, how to represent your product in a better way. And the best thing was he was always a call away whenever we needed any sort of guidance or support. I also got opportunity to learn from other mentors as well during the project reviews and mock interviews. I think Lofty Khanna was one of them. He also shared with me my mock interview feedback, and he shared with me some tips to improve the things related to the interviews. I think the mentors can suggest you many, not only the major things, but many minor things as well that you usually miss out when you focus on fulfilling the major things. And that is what my overall experience with the Pesto mentors.
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And I think like it's the attention to these details, right? Like nobody really told us since our school days that how do you manage your time better, right? And I think it's probably one of the most important things you could learn in your life, right? So really appreciate the thought on soft skills there. And I think we have always believed that soft skills are equally, if not more, important as your programming skills in your careers. But awesome. So I think like getting through this experience, what are the things which you feel like really helped you as you went into the interviewing process? And I think like I must recognize you have been like pretty good at writing the right email copies, responding on time, very proactively whenever you've got interviews from Pesto. How was that experience like? And how do you manage this, right? How do you produce this output, making sure that you're responding to emails on time and doing all of these basic things really well? What would you advise people who are going through the program right now?
Yeah, I think that is the most important thing which you get to learn from Pesto, how to be perfect. So I counted it as one of my major learnings from Pesto that in one word, it would be the perfection. So you might be knowing already how to get the things done, but how to get the things done perfectly, that I got to learn from Pesto. Overall, like we could practice a lot with the mock interviews, live coding rounds, and a lot of things that that literally boosted a confidence in me while facing any interviews. And I think Pesto has a lot of resources. You can get to learn a lot of things, both technical and non-technical things from the Pesto community. You can work on your soft skills. You can, like Pesto curriculum itself is the best because you will get to learn each and everything that is required to develop a product end to end, that is required to become a perfect software engineer. And like starting from requirement gathering, you get to learn everything. Requirement gathering, building wireframes, representing your ideas, documentation, coding, testing, representing your product, getting it reviewed, and working on feedback regarding the interviews as well, like mock interviews, resume buildings, working on your soft skills. And also, of course, the masterclass sessions was like a cherry on a cake. So I think that was the amazing thing, that Pesto curriculum covers each and everything. It is like all in one package. And once you go through it, you will be 100% confident. So you can realize the confidence or changed
Yeah.
yourself. Um, and yeah.
Nice. That's pretty amazing to hear. But how are these learnings? I'm actually genuinely curious about, how does this look like in action? I mean, of course, like you went through the program and we talk about most of these things, but as you learn these things, how are these things helping you practically on the job, right? Like you're working somewhere. Are these things of any use, or do these things only sound good on paper? Just curious.
No, definitely. I think each and everything is getting noticed. So whatever we have learned from here, I think, uh, as I said, that you can get the things done, but when you go through this course, you will definitely uh, give importance to each and every minor things as well. So I am following those things, and I am seeing the result right now as well. While I am working in my current company, I am getting a lot of appreciation that, oh, you did this so much well. You followed the best practices. You are so much perfect on time, and like always putting attention to each and every minor things as well. So I think that thing I learned from my pesto experience, that people will point out that you should definitely work on this, because your project, even though it was just a demo project, it was getting reviewed by senior software engineers. They will highlight each and every point. Even your documentation is missing something, they will point out. They will ask you to modify it and represent it again. So I think those things definitely made me more perfect, and those things are really very much important. I think people notice it and people appreciate those things. So I always try to follow those things. Also, I do remember one of the things, one of the quotes that we were often told throughout the pesto journey, that try to give way more than what you are asked for. And honestly, I have been strictly following this thing, and it works magically. I always try to give more than what I'm asked for, and it works like anything. So I count it as one of the
Amazing.
major learnings from pesto.
Absolutely. No, that's amazing. I think it's also, sort of if you just keep doing it consistently, the compounding effect of this is very, very high. Um, awesome. What does your journey look like from now onwards? I mean, you've got uh, a decent job and it seems like you're enjoying working there as well. Oh, before actually I ask that, you've been working in a remote company and working from Gujarat. Is your family happy? Are you able to spend more time with them? Would you recommend working remotely to people? Since your preference in the beginning was not to get a remote job, right? But how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, I think I would highly recommend remote jobs, because even though it wasn't my first choice, but I started working remotely, and I was always looking for better opportunity in the remote jobs only. And I think I pretty much enjoy this life. Like you get a lot of time to spend with your family, because you are at home. You can definitely save a lot of traveling time, and also like sitting at your home and enjoying the peaceful surroundings definitely creates positive energy, and I very much enjoy it. I totally recommend it, that go for the remote job, and it doesn't make any difference. I think you get to learn a lot of things with remote jobs as well. So my experience so far has been amazing. And now I would definitely recommend remote jobs only to others.
Amazing. What are your career goals in next few years? Where is the shift headed?
Yeah, so I just wanted to keep working remotely. In future, I mean, my long-term goal might be starting something on my own, but um, right now I am pretty much enjoying it because I get to learn a lot of things when I learn with other people. I work with other people, so I am definitely enjoying this thing, and I just want to keep doing it.
That's amazing. If you had to start a company in future, what would you end up doing?
Yeah, definitely that is in my checklist. And I think I will be pretty much confident and I'll be able to manage the time and the workload after a few more years of experience. And I will definitely do that thing. But yeah, initially I didn't have the business mind. So I wanted to just learn and just you need to get out of that mindset that even without working in an MNC you can achieve everything. That thing took a long time for me. So now I just want to enjoy that thing because I am now confident, and I now want enjoy that time that okay, without MNC experience you can achieve everything.
Absolutely. I mean, we have had all sorts of people, right? We have had dropouts. We have had people who failed in their exams. We have had a 19-year-old. We are doing an AMA with us this weekend. He's still 19, right? And he's working as a senior developer remotely at a pretty impressive company. So, yeah, 100%. I think Pesto developers are breaking stereotypes left, right, and center, and it's very, very inspiring to see. But yes, all the very best, Manali, for your ambitions. We're always there to back you with everything we've got whenever time comes for you to start your own company, and that's something which we'll look forward to as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Any pieces of advice, Manali, for young developers, people who are trying to make it, who are working really hard but lacking direction, or who are considering Pesto, or who are at the stage of the career where you were? Any pieces of advice for them?
Yeah, so I would like to advise that those who are going to graduate from Pesto, try to spend as much time as you can in learnings during the course. You will get to learn a lot of things from the Pesto community, both technical and non-technical things. It's just that you need to spend some time for yourself. And I think you will definitely get to learn something new from this course because even though we have worked earlier and developed a product end to end, but you will definitely get something new to learn that you haven't got chance to work on before. And also regarding the interviews, I would like to advise that I have seen that different companies follow different interview processes. So try to get some context around each round of the interviews and prepare accordingly. That thing helped me a lot. And in
Nice.
general, I would like to advise that I have seen people in our industry feel little hesitate to express the gratitude and to apologize.
Yeah.
So I would like to request everyone that express your gratitude if somebody is nice to you, helps you or supports you. Apologize for your mistakes, be responsible for your mistakes, and uh, share knowledge with others. That definitely adds up. And yeah, one last advice from my very own journey that being in an IT field, I think the place and the experience don't really matter. If you are skilled and hardworking, you can definitely achieve everything that you want. Just don't give up and don't lose your patience. Just keep doing it.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna end it just like that. This is so amazing, Monali. So happy and proud to hear all of these golden nuggets coming out of you. Any place where people can reach out, people who are watching this, if they have any questions or want to reach out to you, any places which you recommend? Are you active on Twitter or LinkedIn?
Yeah, I am definitely active on LinkedIn. I'm not using Twitter, so yeah, I
Amazing. So, guys, if you have any question, feel free to reach out to Monali on LinkedIn. We will put her LinkedIn profile in description below. And it was so awesome having this conversation with you, Monali. Thanks again for taking up time. We'll see you again very soon.
thank you, Ayush. It was pleasure meeting you.
Likewise, take care.